Imagine a regular Monday morning in the United States. You wake up, grab your phone, glance at your annual salary, and see a number between $80,000 and $150,000. On paper, you are doing well. You belong to the middle and upper middle class that many people dream of reaching. But a few seconds later, when you open your banking app, reality feels completely different. Your account balance is almost empty at the end of every month. Your credit cards are close to their limits, and even a small unexpected expense makes your heart beat a little faster. The uncomfortable truth is that you are not lazy. You work hard, you push for promotions, and you have done everything society tells you to do. Yet you are still living paycheck to paycheck and still feel financially unstable even though your income is far above average. What is even more concerning is that you are not alone. Millions of Americans fall into this cycle. They earn impressive salaries but fail to build real wealth. They are not poor because of lack of opportunity, but because of a series of subtle financial decisions that slowly drain their long-term financial health. If you have ever looked at your income and wondered why you still feel stressed about money, why you cannot take risks, why you cannot take time off work without worrying, then this is your story. And that story begins with 6 common financial mistakes that many high-earning Americans make without realizing it. If you feel like you are working harder than ever, but your financial life does not reflect that effort, this video will give you clarity. We will break down the 6 most common financial mistakes that keep Americans earning between $80,000 and $150,000 a year, stuck in a paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle. These are not dramatic failures. They are small, repeated decisions that quietly erode long-term wealth. You will understand why a high income does not guarantee financial security, why someone making $120,000 a year can still be worse off than someone making $60,000, and why many families feel like they are constantly treading water. More importantly, you will learn how to recognize these 6 patterns in your own life. You will see which habits are draining your money, which behaviors create the most damage, and what small changes can immediately shift your financial direction. This is not theory. This is how millions of Americans actually behave with money. And once you understand these 6 mistakes, you are one step closer to breaking free from the cycle. To understand why these mistakes are so damaging, you need to see the real financial landscape of modern America. A surprising truth emerges from the data. A person earning between $80,000 and $150,000 a year is in the upper half of the income distribution. Yet nearly 60% of high earners report that they still live paycheck to paycheck. They have little money left after each pay period, no meaningful emergency cushion, and constant anxiety about the future. Income has risen, but so have pressures. Housing costs have exploded, childcare, healthcare, transportation, and education are more expensive than ever. Social expectations have grown. When income increases, lifestyle expectations rise even faster. Money flows in quickly, but it flows out even quicker. A deeper issue is that Americans often confuse income with wealth. Income is what you earn, wealth is what you keep. Many high earners build no wealth at all because their money disappears into a long list of fixed expenses and emotional purchases before they even realize it. Debt amplifies this problem. Even 6-figure earners often carry credit card balances, student loans, auto loans, and sometimes medical debt. These recurring payments consume a large part of their monthly cash flow. When all of this combines, the result becomes clear. Americans are not struggling because they do not earn enough. They are struggling because they do not control the way money leaves their pockets. And that brings us to the 6 core financial mistakes behind the paycheck to paycheck trap. Nobody ends up financially stressed because of a single bad decision. High-earning Americans do not fail because of one large mistake. They fail because hundreds of small choices accumulate over years. Most people believe the problem is the economy, inflation, cost of living, or taxes. But the real problem lies in the personal financial system they unknowingly built. The higher the income, the easier it is to hide financial mistakes in the short term. These 6 mistakes are quiet, they are subtle, they do not feel dangerous, but over time, they destroy the ability to create wealth. Once you recognize them, you gain the power to change your financial direction. Let us start with the first mistake, one that almost every high earner believes they are immune to until it is too late. Mistake 1. Lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is the silent force that keeps many high-earning Americans from building wealth. When income increases, spending increases just as quickly. A higher salary leads to nicer apartments, newer cars, more frequent dining out, better travel, and upgrades that feel completely justified. The danger is that spending grows faster than income. A higher lifestyle feels normal very quickly, and once it becomes the new baseline, it is extremely difficult to reduce it. The most common areas of lifestyle inflation in the United States are housing, vehicles, and day-to-day spending habits. These upgrades seem small individually, but together they erase the financial benefit of a higher income. Lifestyle inflation prevents money from accumulating. It turns raises into temporary boosts, not long-term gains. Many Americans look back after a decade of high earnings and realize they have saved almost nothing because every raise was absorbed into a more expensive lifestyle. This is why lifestyle inflation is considered one of the most destructive financial habits among high earners. Mistake 2, credit overspending. Credit overspending is one of the most direct contributors to financial decline among high-income Americans. The United States offers easy access to credit, high limits, and constant encouragement to spend. Many people do not feel the financial impact of a purchase when they use credit. A $200 charge or a $400 charge feels painless, but dozens of these small charges accumulate into large balances. High earners often fall into the trap of believing they can always pay it off later. But once the balance grows and lifestyle demands increase, paying off debt becomes difficult. Minimum payments keep them afloat, but high interest rates drain their future wealth. Some people start treating credit as if it were part of their income. This is where the cycle becomes dangerous. Credit overspending steals from your future by locking your money into interest payments instead of investments. Mistake 3, housing cost trap. Housing is the largest expense for most Americans. It is also one of the most common financial traps. Many high earners spend far more than the recommended 30% of income on housing. They rent high-end apartments or buy homes that stretch their budgets because it feels appropriate for someone earning six figures. But high housing costs limit every other part of personal finance. They reduce flexibility, reduce savings, reduce investing capacity, and increase risk. A single job loss, interest rate adjustment, or unexpected expense can create financial instability. Housing cost trap is especially dangerous because it feels socially justified. People believe that living in a better neighborhood or owning a larger home is a sign of success, but this belief often leads to long-term financial strain. Mistake 4, saving without investing. Saving is necessary, but saving alone is not enough. Money in a regular savings account loses value to inflation over time. Many high earners feel safe because they save consistently, yet they do not invest. Without investing, money cannot grow, and when the cost of living rises every year, the real value of savings declines. Some people delay investing because they feel intimidated, unprepared, or fearful of market volatility. But waiting is the most expensive choice. Time is the greatest force in building wealth. Without investing, you work for money, but your money never works for you. Mistake 5, emotional spending. Emotional spending is one of the most relatable financial mistakes among high earners. It is driven by stress, fatigue, reward seeking, or the simple desire to feel in control. These purchases are usually not luxuries. They are everyday decisions like ordering food, shopping online, buying gadgets, or planning spontaneous weekend trips. Each one feels small, but repeated often enough, they drain cash flow and prevent wealth from forming. Emotional spending creates a cycle. Stress leads to spending, which leads to more financial stress, which triggers more spending. Breaking this cycle requires awareness and intentional habits. Mistake 6, ignoring long-term planning. Ignoring long-term planning is one of the most damaging habits among high-earning Americans. It is easy to focus on immediate goals and forget about the bigger picture. People delay investing, skip retirement planning, neglect insurance needs, and avoid long-term thinking. As a result, they miss out on compounding growth and leave themselves vulnerable to major financial risks. Without a clear long-term plan, all financial decisions become reactive instead of strategic. Summary. These 6 mistakes share one theme. They prevent income from becoming wealth. High earners often assume they are safe because they earn more than average. But without strong habits, high income simply funds an expensive lifestyle rather than building financial security. Once you identify these mistakes in your life and begin adjusting them, even slightly, your financial direction can shift dramatically. If you made it to this point, it means you take your financial future seriously. Thousands of high-earning Americans never discover these mistakes, and they continue struggling despite impressive salaries. You do not need to earn more to become wealthy. You need to manage better. Small changes, applied consistently, can transform your financial trajectory. Financial freedom does not come from your paycheck. It comes from the choices you make with every dollar that leaves your account.